The other way.
There
This
we
way?
go. Yes,
Hold
sir.
on. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, whoa, man. Is that me?
That's
Wow.
you.
Man.
All right, we're gonna start off, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Al Mecca. Conversations with the legendary DJ Nasty Nes.
Yes,
What's going
sir.
on? What's going on, my brother? How you feeling today?
Yeah, I'm sorry I'm like 3 minutes late, but you know, that's called Filipino time. So I had to keep it real with you, man. But I am here and I'm ready to roll, man. What's going on, Al?
Man, you know, just living this Ohio life.
Is that right? You're in what part of Ohio are you in? Cleveland, Cincinnati?
I'm 45 minutes south of Cleveland at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Wow. Oh, dope. Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
remember years ago I was there for WZAK when I was with Sir Mix-a-Lot. We came up there, and Lynn Tolliver, who was the program director who passed away
Rest
recently,
in peace,
made,
Oliver.
yeah, made that station sound real good. And I knew his sons. They had an R&B group. Forgot the
Men
name of
at
the
Large.
group, but
Men at Large. Derek
yeah.
Charles, the champion.
Yeah, men at large, and I know why they called it men at large, because they were larger than me, stomach wise.
Yeah, matter of fact, they still doing their thing. Actually, they just dropped a new album. It's banging. Check out Men at Large. Hey, that if you haven't heard it, look them up, man. They got some real dope music. For real. I'm really
Yes,
impressed.
yeah,
I'm really
and
impressed.
they're really nice guys too, man. One of the nicest guys around, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, this is where I want to start with you. How did you get into the music game? Like as a youth, what was your inspirations? What inspired you?
Well, you know, I always loved music because my sister, she collected records when she was in high school, and I used to always go through a record collection. And I remember my first album that she gave me that she let me have, and I was like maybe 4 years old. It was in 1965, so I'm older than you, but the record is a classic record. It was the Rolling Stones album, which had their biggest hit, "I Ain't Got No Satisfaction," on there. That was my
Okay.
first album. And then I just remembered seeing her Beatles Sgt. Pepper's album, and I would play it over and over on her portable stereo, and West Side Story. So that's the beginning, was that. And I mean, it's a long story from till now, but that's really how it started. Just her record collection, and I had a small transistor radio, and I used to always listen to Casey Kasem's American Top 40 and what they're playing on the radio, and that's when I fell in love with groups like the Fifth Dimension, you name it, man. I was a big fan of everything, Mamas and the Papas. Uh, don't matter if you're white or black, if the music was good, man. I was a kid and I loved it all.
That's what's up. But at what point did you decide, all right, I want to hop on these turntables and start doing something with this music and mixing it up and whatnot?
Okay, well, that kind of started when I was maybe 16 years old, 15 years old. I used to get my hair cut um by a lady by the name of Eddie Locke. And, you know, going to her salon, she worked in the bougie salon where it was like, back in those days, you know, spending $20 for a haircut was considered really expensive. So she said,
Yeah.
"Hey, why don't you just come to my mom's house and I'll cut your hair there for half price." So I said, "Oh, okay." So I went to her mom's house, and every time I would hear music upstairs. And this is during the era when Confunction, Lakeside, they were really popular. So this is like the near to the late 70s. And I would get my hair cut listening to all this dope music, and I go, "Man, who's that playing music upstairs?" She goes, "Oh, that's my brother, Ed Locke." I said, "You mean the guy that's on the radio?" "Yeah, that Ed Locke." And, you know, he also DJ'd at the clubs. And
Yeah.
I said, "Well, can I meet him?" And then so I met him, and he would invite me to his gigs. And that's how I learned really how to get on the turntables and get behind the mic and talk on the mic. And he invited me to the radio station, and I answered the request lines. And I was like, man, you get to play all this music, get a paycheck, and all these girls were calling on their quest lines. And remember, I was only like 15 years old or so. I go, wow, this is the easy way to get girls on quest line. So I said, hey, how can I do what you do for a living? And that was really, honestly, the beginning. I got into being a DJ on the radio and on the turntables. But it gets better, though. But I'll wait till you ask me more questions.
Where were you? Were you in Seattle? Where were you when this was taking place?
Well, I moved state, Seattle, in 1970. So from 1970 to 1998 is when I was in Seattle, and after that I moved to LA. But that all happened in Seattle, and you got to remember back then in Seattle, yeah, no one really knew what hip hop was, and those places where people would say, "What's in Seattle?" Let's see, it rains, it's green, and do they have cars there, or do they ride horses there? you know. But yeah, but now it's like since Amazon moved in, it's like a miniature New York, man.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, what was the hip hop scene like at that time? Tell us a little bit about that. Like you said, nobody really knew what was popping in Seattle, but what was kind of like the underground scene? How was everything going on?
Well, before any of that happened, my sister lived in New York, and I would always visit her in New York during the summers. And her best friend, Ann Tripp, at the time, was working at a radio station. It was called 92 WKTU. And this was the station in New York where DJs, the Latin Rascals, Jelly Bean Benitez got their start. And I remember when I went to the radio station with my sister, because she had to drop something off for a friend, they introduced me to all the DJs, and I was like, wow, this is better than being in Seattle with Ed Locke on his radio station. This is like big time. This is New York, and
Yeah.
so that was kind of like my intro to hearing what hip hop was all about. They didn't really have much hip hop yet, but it was just about to blow up. So the scene in Seattle really wasn't any, So what I did is I took what I learned in New York. I said, let me buy all the records that they're playing here. Let me bring it back to Seattle. I'll play it on my show. So he created a show for me on Sunday nights where I can play only new music. It's called Fresh Tracks on Sunday nights. And so I started playing like maybe 1 or 2, 3 rap records on that show. And next thing I know, I became the DJ for Seattle's first hip-hop group. And that group is called the Emerald Street Boys. So I was their DJ, and that was before Mix-a-Lot. And then when I got with Mix-a-Lot, that was in 1983. So 19 Boys, and then 1983
got a little hold over for a second, just a little lag. All right, go ahead.
You say?
Okay, so now how did you hook up with Sir Mix-a-Lot? What was that process?
Well, ironically, we went to the same high school, and at Roosevelt High School, I was like 2 years older than him, but I don't even remember him back then. But he really he remembered me pretty well, because I was like the thug of the school, in one of the few Asians there, But I always hang around the brothers and the sisters, and I really loved Roosevelt High School. Graduated from there, but it was not until maybe 1983 when he called me up on the request lines, and he introduced himself to me and said who he was. And then I told him, yeah, I've heard of you, because every time I would be out doing a gig with the Emerald Street Boys, it would be up against Sir Mix-a-Lot, and I think his DJ at the time was Baron Von Scratch, maybe. So we would sort of run into each other, but we never really talked until he called me up. And then Ed Locke, the guy who I learned to DJ from, who actually funded and started Nasty Mix Records, one day said, hey, let's go check out this Sir Mix-a-Lot guy and see what he's all about. I go, okay, where is he going to be at? And he said, at the Boys and Girls Club in the Central District. So let me remind you, if you have the darkest neighborhood in Ohio, where it's all thugs, and you know, and there's no Asians or whites there. That's where we went in Seattle. It's called the Central District at the time. And I go, "You sure, man? They might like rob us or kill us if we're in their neighborhood." And but we took a chance and went there. I was on the radio, and at the time, people didn't know what Nasty Nes looked like, you know, because when you heard me on the radio, they automatically thought I was black. They didn't know I was Asian, and they probably didn't even know what a Filipino was yet at that time. But a few people did recognize me, and then I walked in there, and I saw him in the lunchroom with his turntables, a mic. He was playing the hits. I think Morris Day, the big hit singer at the time, was playing that. And he would get on the mic, and then he would rap and do his stuff. And I never seen anything like that before. And so, you know, I put my pride aside because, you know, my ego was really huge.
Mm-hmm. Got a little lag here. Gonna pan out all the way out there on the left.
Should I keep talking?
Little interruption. Yeah, just go.
Keep talking?
Yep, you go. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so anyway, after hearing him, you know, I put my pride aside and I said, "Hey, man, I'd like to play your stuff on my radio show." And back in those days, you know, no one really played local music on the radio, but it was something I wanted to test out and see if he would mind if I played his stuff on my show. And what happened was he would let me play his new stuff that he would make off a 4-track cassette tape, and that's how I knew what songs were going to hit. And when I noticed that he was getting more requests to hear his songs more than a Michael Jackson or a Madonna song, that's when I knew something big was about to happen. And that's kind of like how it started, man.
Wow. So you kind of just broke him into the scene pretty much.
What's that? Because you kind of froze for a second. Say it again.
I said, you pretty much just broke him into the scene, you know, being a radio DJ and just, you know what I'm saying, and just bumping his music and giving people an opportunity to respond to it.
Yeah, you know, and like I said, no one else was doing it, and I didn't do it to say years from now I'm going to be famous for doing it. I just did it because I felt, you know, what a better way to reach the audience in Seattle than by playing his stuff on my show. Because usually on radio back then, and even now, you know, you won't play anything unless they're signed to a label or whatnot. But, you know, I kind of broke the rules and said, you know, I'll play it off the cassette tape or a reel-to-reel. Like when I first played NWA and EZ, I played it off a reel-to-reel when Arabian Prince gave me their stuff to test out. I had to do my own radio edits on it. But, you know, I said, okay, you know, it's not out yet on vinyl. I'm going to test it out. And that's how I knew they were creating a new path in hip-hop when NWA came out.
Wow. So how was that experience dealing with the early NWA? Because a lot of people keep forgetting Arabian Prince, you know, was one of the founding fathers of that whole thing.
Well, it was because of him that I got to know who NWA was. I mean, prior to that, how I knew Arabian Prince is because I was good friends with Bobby, Jimmy, and the Critters, and he was part of that group, and I used to play their songs on my radio show. But how I got to know Dr. Dre and Yella and Jerry Heller is because we, meaning Sir Mix-a-Lot, we did a show in London, and it was Sir Mix-a-Lot and the World Class Wrecking Crew. We were the only two West Coast groups on the bill, which was predominantly an East Coast show, you know. So that's how that relationship started. And plus, Arabian Prince, you know, I was good friends with his father, who was a editor for a magazine, and he would call me every week just to see what records I was playing. And then he told me about his son, who's in the rap group, and I go, oh, sure, I'd like to meet him. And now Arabian Prince is huge now, man. He's large.
Now, how did it feel, especially back then? You know, you guys are getting around doing these shows and whatnot. Being from the West Coast going east, how was the reception there when you first started going, you know, coming out east?
Oh, man, you know, some of it was really scary. Like I remember being in St. Louis, and I remember being in Detroit and Philly. And, you know, I talk about girls that are thugs. I never seen female thugs before until I went there, you know, but they were cool with us, you know. It was different. Seriously, because we're from the West Coast, you know, but they accepted us, and I really enjoyed the experience, you know. Back then, you know, I really used to perpetrate and wear these T-shirts all the time saying Bronx, New York, and I would try to talk like I was from New York, you know. And then I remember I did, seriously. And then I remember Mixla yelled at me. He goes, "Why are you doing that? You're not from there. You're from Seattle. Look." And he was we were a Seahawk hat, his Mariners jersey, whatever. He goes, "Seattle, West Coast. All right, be proud of where you're from." And then it took me a minute to think about it, and man, he was right, you know. So I just started always mentioning. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of a little bit embarrassed to say I'm from Seattle. Like no one knows about Seattle. But I thought if I told a girl that I was from the Bronx, I would get to third base. If I said I was from Seattle, I wouldn't even get to first base, you know. But
Yeah,
yeah, so I'm 206 for life now.
it is. So how did you feel the first time you looked up and you're on Yo MTV Raps?
Okay, your thing froze, so I didn't hear the whole question. Say it again.
So how did you feel when you finally looked up the first time you seen yourself on Yo MTV Raps?
Oh man, yeah, you know what? That being on there was like, oh, I can't even know how to explain it. I tell you this much: when I would be in the airports, I'd be on the airplane, and the people that worked at the airplane, the young kids that would run after me and ask for my autograph. It was such a touching feeling because, you know, my mom, she died when I was 18 of cancer. So she never, I grew up with a single mom. She never got to see what happened with my life, you know. And I was like, man, I wish my mom could see where I'm at now because, you know, I wasn't doing too well prior to her dying, you know. But I made a promise that I was going to do my best to graduate from high school and try to be something in my life because Bruce Lee was a hero of mine who I also worked out, studied at his school, and I wanted to be big like Bruce Lee, you know. But it just felt great, you know. It was like, because, you know, I'm Asian, Filipino, and I was so proud to show people, you know, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. And there was only maybe one other Asian guy that was known in hip-hop at the time, and that was Fresh Kid Ice from Two Live Crew.
Yeah.
So it's funny, you know, the stereotype joke is we all look alike. Said, you know, I told Fresh Kid Eyes, everywhere I go, people think I'm you. And he would say the same thing. He goes, yeah, man, people think I'm you. I go, oh, wow, that's hilarious. But, yeah, rest in peace, Fresh Kid Ice. The Chinaman, they call him the Chinaman.
Yeah, man, that was a golden age back then. And then I'm sure being on Yo MTV Raps, the women just kept flocking after you. Made life easy for you.
You know what, man? I'm not gonna lie. I haven't got anyone pregnant through all my years, and I used to party hard. Not only was I on Yo MTV Raps, I was on a bonus station. I was on Rap City on BET. So imagine BET plus MTV. Woohoo!
Mm-hmm. Have you ever hung out with like Ed Lover or Dr. Dre? You ever had a chance to just like hang out with them brothers?
Hmm. Oh yeah, Ed Lover, Dr. Dre, Fat Five Freddy, from Rap City. I remember the mayor real well.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those guys. So you know, that was my job. Is always to whenever I'm in town to come up there, um, drop off these big, huge. To play our videos, there were like these 3/4 inch. They look like big VCR tapes. Longest tapes you know, carry them in, or just go in there and visit them, and just say hi, you know. And we all got along. Who passed away, but he was one of the producers of Yo MTV Raps. But yeah, those were some classic days, man. Just going in there and go, wow, I'm in at MTV Raps, and you know, luckily I took a lot of pictures coming up in the business. My friend, who's a promoter for Tommy, got one advice for you. I go, what? always bring a camera, take pictures, because 20 years from now, you'll be so happy when you look back and see your accomplishments. And he was right. You know, I've got tons of pictures, man. Even in Philly, there was a Dance Party USA. It was kind of like
Okay.
American Bandstand. I don't know if you ever watched that show, but we were on there, and my dream at the time, it's a ridiculous dream now, but at the time, I wanted to meet the girl on there dancing named Princess. So I have a picture with Princess, and that is one of my most memorable moments in Philly.
Oh, wow. Now, as the eras change, what's one of the biggest things you notice, like from the music industry standpoint, like from then to now? Did you hear me?
Oh man, you froze again. You said
Okay.
eras changed, and after that, you just
Like like
froze.
what's the biggest changes you see in the to now?
Oh man, I don't know what kind of connection we got, but I think I understood your question. Well, if there was any change that I noticed between then and now, is when MP3s, the way to promote music, and vinyl was like no one, no one. They stopped making vinyls. They stopped sending vinyl to DJs, and back then it was you felt exclusive if you got the first single or the newest hammer or whatever it may be on vinyl. Now, you know, you can get MP3s. You can just go on YouTube and get every song in the world for free and convert them. You know, the quality might not be good, but I think that really hurt the industry a lot. It hurt the artists a lot. I think that's probably why a lot of artists now are selling their whole catalog for millions of dollars, you know. So that's the change I noticed is how to promote new music now. It's a lot harder now than back then, but I always feel that one of the best ways to continue to promote a new artist, which I do with rapattacklives.com, is, you know, extend the artist, have them do DJ drops for the DJs. If you're in the neighborhood, visit them, try to get them to do interviews on the show, or even do an interview with you to get it out there, you know. There's other ways to promote them.
So tell me about rapattacklive.com. About that.
Okay, so you're breaking up again, but I think you asked me about rapattacklives.com. Probably in 1990, no, probably around 2002, I started that. And basically, it's what I've been doing since 1985, where I promote records pretty much strictly to college radio, because now with college radio, they have rap shows. They can play whatever they want to. They can play uncensored stuff after, I think, 9 p.m. at night. And it's a lot better way for me to get airplay. I might get, like, if you had a song out, you know, I can almost guarantee you, if it's good, I can get you played on a college radio station. Might only be once or twice a week, but at least you're getting some kind of play, you know. And I have a chart that comes out every week, and people can see what's hitting on the independent underground hip hop unsigned charts, you know. So yeah, that's my main key with rapattacklives.com, is helping independent labels.
Okay. And what other ventures do you have going on right now?
Man, I'm still trying to become a movie star, TV star, man. You know, I still, you know, I'm in LA, the heart of Hollywood. I've been in a few movies and TV shows, but man, I'm just waiting for it's going to happen. You watch, and then you're going to say, hey, I remember him. And then I'm going to be on a TV show or a movie, and you're going to say, God, that guy was a nice guy, man. Good for him.
What type of movie are you trying to be? You have a certain type of movie you want to be in?
Man, as long as I don't have to show myself naked or being, I don't, you ever watch P-Valley?
I watched it up till a certain point. And then
Well, I put it like this: if I don't mind being in P Valley as long as I don't have to kiss Uncle Cliff, and then I'm all good. I get a big paycheck and I don't have to kiss Uncle Cliff. We are all good. We need some Asians in that show.
Let's say spice it up a little bit.
Oh man, I got that sriracha sauce spice, man.
Oh, you the wild boy. You the wild boy. Do you still like DJ at clubs or anything like that?
You know, I kind of retired from doing that. I have other guys do it for me now. You know, I've got Grand Mixer GMS. I've got DJ Budget Money, DJ T. I've got Rex Santa Elena from San Jose's Hot977.com. I let those guys do it, man. Yeah, I've been doing it for so long. It's time for these youngsters to come up and do their thing. So every night you can hear me on RainierAvenueRadio.world, 9 p.m. Pacific time, KFOX Night Beat, 2-hour show. You know, I play stuff I played when it was brand new and they're huge hits now, and then I end the show like I always did back then with a master mix. So, you know, I do that. Once in a blue moon, I'll go on an acting audition, and once or twice a month, thanks to my publicist, Jeff Kwan from BTP Media. Let me plug that, BTP Media. I'll do interviews for shows like yours. He knows what kind of shows I want to be on. So if I'm not on that show, they're whack. So I'm on your show, so you know what that means, man. Al, your show is hard.
I'm fine, and he's a great guy, man. He works hard. He's a great guy. We vibe really well, and you know we just on the same page about a lot of things. I have so much respect, you know, for how he moves. So man, y'all check out BTP Media, man. They definitely doing it. Now, what I need to
You know
know,
what he looks like, right? You've seen Jeff before, right?
yeah.
You seen, you know, yeah. So let me ask you this, or am I the only one? Can you tell when he's smiling, happy, sad in his pictures, or does he always look the same to you?
It's pretty steady. It's just pretty steady.
Okay, I'm just worried. I thought it was, you know, because I always wear glasses all the time. I thought maybe my eyes gone bad. All right, never mind. Next.
So, your all-time top 5 favorite DJs?
Oh man, I don't know if I'll put it in order, but Cameron Paul, Cash Money, Grandmaster Flash, Jam Master Jay. Yeah, man, there's a whole bunch more, man. I'm just gonna throw it out there. I love man, Bro Rap. You know, he's a DJ for Kid and Play, and he's always on the road with them. And he always starts his show with Run DMC. You know, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. He goes, he's so fast. I say, wow. And then I got to big up my DJs too. You know, Grass and my guys too. But yeah, there's so many of them up there. But probably my most favorite has to be cross between Cameron Paul and listening growing up to like the Latin Rascals and Jelly Bean Benitez when they were doing their mixes, you know, just listening to them and how they did it. You know, I would listen and study hard, you know, because for a minute there I thought they were doing it live. So how can they play like 15 songs in 30 seconds and it all mixes? Then I figured it out. I'm not going to tell you how they do it, but I know how to do it now.
Say, okay, a lot more to it. A lot more to it. So as a DJ, right? When you play a lot of music, but when you just want to unwind, you at the crib, you know, sipping on your favorite adult beverage, you got your feet up. What type of music or playlist do you usually go to?
Oh, that's easy, man. And I love music. Okay, first of all, don't hate me when I say I love Elvis Presley. Matter of fact, we did a song years ago called Nes Presley. I ain't nothing but a DJ scratching all the time. But we never put it out because we didn't want to get sued by Elvis. But listen, I love old school B love songs. I love groups like the Shy Lights, the Stylistics, the Spinners. Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? Stevie Wonder's My Sharia More. Music like that really hits my soul. Confunction, fun, fun, fun. You know, I dig deep. Tower Power, like John Clemmer, Ramsey Lewis, who passed away, his song Sun Goddess, Earth, Wind, and Fire. You know, and I go deep as like even like the Beatles. I love the Beatles. And you're going to be surprised on this one, too. You would never think that Nasty Nes loves. And I was even a member of their fan club. Okay, so don't edit this out. You need to know this. The Partridge Family and the Osmond Brothers. Yeah.
I remember when who was that little TV show back in the day.
Say it again, because you froze here.
I said I remember when the Osmonds had their TV show. Remember they used to be on TV.
He asked me, do I remember? And I was in the fan club. Al, everything before you did about the Osmonds. Even Marie Osmond, Paper Roses. What a beautiful song. That's better than LL Cool J's Rock the Bells.
Man, it seems like you just really enjoy life. What's your secret to keeping your spirits up? Like what really keeps you in tune and getting through your everyday?
Oh man, you know, hitting rock bottom, you know, losing everything, going through one bad marriage, domestic violence, drug abuse, hanging out in the streets with the wrong crowd. You know, a lot of that helped me mature. And I think not having a full-time father figure, the only guy that really was there for me, martial art teacher, my Sifu Taki Kimura, he was a big inspiration to me. He was Bruce Lee's best man at the wedding. He took over Bruce Lee's school in Seattle, you know, but he passed away about a year ago. But having a Taki Kimura in my life is, I guess you can say it's like having a Mr. Miyagi in Daniel LaRusso's life, you know. That's how he was to me, you know. That and, you know, my faith, you know, man, getting saved, you know, putting Jesus Christ first really helped a lot. And just, I used to party a lot and everything. And out of all that, you know, I've suffered congestive heart failure, diabetes 2, high blood pressure, all that. But I'm happy now, man. Although I might take a lot of meds every day, but man, I really appreciate life so much. And I was in the car with this guy earlier today, returning a rental car, and we were talking, and he said to me, he goes, you know what, something about you, you must be really happy with yourself, and you must really love yourself, because you really brighten up my life. There's just something about you that really lifts up my spirit. And I go, hey, man, well, if I can shine like that to you, I want to shine like that to everyone else, like even being here, right, and to everyone that's watching, you know, your millions of watchers right now. I hope I touch one of you, you know, and make your life happier, because I've gone through it all, man. I literally hit rock bottom, you know, where I thought I was going to die, or I wish I was dead, or wanted to kill myself. But I'm glad I didn't do that, man, or else I wouldn't be here talking to you.
Absolutely, man. You know, we go through these trials and tribulations, and when you can come out the back end a better person, you know, it's like, yes, you know, I don't think sometimes, especially, you know, with you being in the industry and everything that goes on in the industry and how fast things come at you, you know, your head gets to spinning. It's just so much. And like you said, the hard party and all that, it's very easy to lose yourself.
Yeah, man. You know, but I used to think having material things made you, made people want to be with you, and made you like the man. But you know what? I don't even care about rolling in a Rolls Royce or wearing a Rolex anymore. You know that stuff don't matter to me anymore, man. I've got a great wife now. You know, I don't have everything in the world, but I have to say I am happy. I am happy, and I've got big goals. Like I said, my biggest goals is to be in a TV series or in a movie, and man, just to be able to buy a mansion or something, you know, because you know, everything I had before, I lost majority, 80% of everything I had before. I lost it all, you know, and I never learned business about what the IRS is or does, you know. I learned the hard way, but you know, it's a learning lesson. Life is a learning lesson, man. So maybe those that are watching now, listening to me, will learn. So stop smoking cigarettes. I just smoke 2 packs a day. Benson and Hedges Ultra Light Deluxe Menthols. Ooh, it felt good with some old English, but man, it ruined my liver.
Oh man, need delivery, need yeah, man. Say brought you down. So what advice would you have for an up and coming DJ, a young DJ that just really want to get out here and do his thing? What advice would you have for a young brother or sister?
Yeah, you know, it's so hard now because everyone's a DJ. Everyone, you know, they got these new equipment and where you just press a button and it mixes for you, you know, and people, well, they don't really pay anymore when they hire a DJ. So it's so different now compared to my era. So my advice is not just for a DJ, but for anything in life. If you love what you do and you have a passion for it, do it. Even if you're not getting paid, just do it, because eventually whatever you do and you have a love for it and you're doing it and you really believe in it and you have a passion for it, you will get paid. Maybe not monetarily wise, but you will get rewarded somehow, man. And that's what I did. You know, I used to work for free because it was fun. I loved it. You know, I used to do appearances for free because I love meeting people. You know, like this interview right now, you know, I would normally charge you a lot of money, but I'm doing it for free. You know why? Because of the experience.
And I always tell people, it's like conversations is for the culture. You know, at some point in time, we have to give back to the culture and let people hear your stories and understand what's really going on. Like I say, I don't do drama. I'm not really trying to go viral, do clickbaits, none of that. You know, I like to keep it grown folk talk for the culture so people can learn from brothers such as yourself.
Yes, sir, man. So, you know, keep doing what you're doing, man. Like, thanks to Jeff Kwan, man. I wouldn't even know who you are until now, man. And I'm really happy and honored to get to know you. And I know that you're doing your, and I know that you believe in what you do. You know, otherwise you wouldn't be sitting here talking to me. And I'm sure every guest you have on there, it touches somebody. You know, so just keep doing what you're doing, man. And you know, I gotta say thanks for, you know, having me on here, man. You know, I've been doing this for like 40-something years, and to still be recognized and kind of feel relevant, I guess, by doing this, you know, it's almost as a nice feeling as being on Yo MTV Raps, but maybe even better, because a lot of guys my age right now, you know, they just kind of like waste away, retired, and no one knows what happened to them, man. But I'm still here, man, you know, 61 years old, trying to become a movie star.
Absolutely. I look at it like this, like it's like a wall, right? And you have your own brick in that wall.
I hope so.
You made a contribution, and people got to understand. And I was really enamored by this opportunity because you're from Seattle. You know what I'm saying? And because I'm a hip hop head to the fullest, and I just got to the point I want to know how everybody has been getting down. Like you said, we wasn't familiar with Seattle. All I knew was the Supersonics.
Oh yeah, of course. And they're gone.
Yeah. You know, but you know, like back when they had like Jack Sigma and all them guys.
Oh man, you know what? You know that's so true, because when I graduated from high school, it was in 1979, and that's when they won. The Sonics won the NBA championships, and that was with, Jack Sigma, the Dream Team, you
Yeah,
know. Yeah, that was a golden era. I remember that. Lenny
yeah,
Wilkins, I think he was with them, yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Lenny Wilkins. Who was it? The Johnson brothers. Yeah, Dennis Johnson, the other Johnson. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I just remember coming up, man, and kind of being a little minor celebrity. I would get seats, courtside seats sometimes, and I'm not really a big sports guy. You know what? I enjoy watching boxing and martial arts, but when I get tickets to like the Mariner games, foot, not football, basketball games, people go, "Man, you're so lucky." But I tell them, I go, "Really?" Because to me, they're kind of boring. I'd rather watch a MMA fight, But yeah, it has its props. Sometimes I get to go to those things. I remember I went to one event. I remember going to in LA, and I said, "Man, I want to be like him." Was when The Rock was famous for wrestling. He wasn't a huge movie star yet, but I went to a WWE event, and we had box seats in a special room, all this food catered. And I just remember when he walked into the ring, he sat up, stepped up on the ring, and the whole crowd cheered. I go, gosh, how do you get to that status? That must be a great feeling of everyone screaming for you, yelling for you. Um, I said, man, I want to be like that. But then again, yeah, when you think about it sometimes, like, do I really want that? Because there are people that are huge, they can't go anywhere, or they get robbed for the jewelry, they get killed for the jewelry. It happens here in LA all the time. Just recently, that P&B guy
Yeah,
he got killed, for jewelry. I said, do I ever want to do that, or should I stay humble and, you know, just just be me, man, normal guy, no one knows where I'm at.
yeah,
So I don't know, the price of fame, is different now than back in my days.
yeah. Yeah, it's crazy that situation. I just think even if you're a celebrity and you want to go support a local business, you shouldn't have to lose your life for going to get some goddamn chicken and waffles.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I love chicken and waffles, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
crazy.
anything. I love anything that you can eat. Yeah, matter of fact, I had Chinese food earlier today. I discovered if you don't know what dim sum is, dim sum is Chinese food. It's so good. If you call up, Google it, and say dim sum in Ohio, where do I go? You gotta try it. It's called dim sum. I'm telling you, Jeff is watching right now. Jeff and eats dim sum. That's my dim sum buddy right there.
There it
But I eat
is.
everything, man. I love soul food, man. My girlfriend in high school, I used to go to her parents and aunt's house, and believe it or not, I ate chitlins, man. I was like the only one eating chitlins. I used to eat all that stuff, man. I love soul food. Man, I can eat. Eat, eat, eat,
Yeah.
eat, eat.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, man, my brother, I want to thank you so much for your time. It is greatly appreciated, man. And man, just wanted to pay homage to another legend. Plus, I just love talking to DJs because DJs got a whole different perspective on music that's just unmatched.
Well, just remember the Osmond brothers. One bad apple don't spoil a whole bunch, girl. I'll leave you with that. Okay? All right, Al? The Osmond
All right,
brothers.
brother.
Johnny Osmond rocks, man. More than Run DMC.
All
Hey,
right,
thank
man.
you.
Thank you so much, man. You have a wonderful evening.
All right, Al. Big ups to everyone watching, man. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, Al. All
As
right,
soon as
brother.
as soon as I decide to shoot a movie, you be the first person I hit up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There you go. Okay, what's up, everyone? GMS, JJ Hudson, all my friends and family. Peace, love, and hip hop unity. Nasty Nes, the crazy Pinoy. See you.
Peace.